how Arsenal will be chasing next season with this insane lineup. After finishing second in the Premier League last season, Arsenal seem like they want to do one better next season and actually win the title. They've spent more money than anybody in England so far this summer, and you can tell that their goals for the 2023-24 season are clear. They want to win the Premier League, go far in the Champions League, and maybe add another trophy to that. With that in mind, this is how Arsenal could line up next season as they chase glory on all fronts. Of course, they're already covered in the goalkeeping position for the next few years. Aaron Ramsdale is 25 and he is solid, so they don't even have to bother about that at all. The problem, however, is in the defence. But before we get into the back line, quickly go and give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel in order to not miss out on awesome content like this. Done? Let's now get back to the Gunners. When William Saliba picked up an injury in the 2022-23 season, Arsenal really suffered. There was a huge drop in quality in the centre-back position, and that's why they're currently going for Jurrien Timber with so much seriousness. Timber is just 22 years old, and he was named Eredivisie Player of the Year in 2022. He is also versatile, as he can play at centre-back and right-back, so he is bound to be a solid addition to the Arsenal backline. If they get Timber, Arteta could then decide to line up a three-man defence with Saliba, Gabriel and Timber, with White and Zinchenko, who have proven to be very good further up the pitch, playing as wing-backs. Arteta could also go the traditional route with the four-man defence where he alternates Saliba, Gabriel and Timber in the two centre-back positions. However he decides to line up his defence, Arteta will still have quality options on the bench like Timber, Tomiyasu and Kiwior. These are not bad options at all. And of course, the importance of a deep squad when you're chasing big titles can never be overemphasised. In the midfield, of course, Arsenal will have the solid and ever-energetic Declan Rice as their new defensive midfielder. He is talented, good on the ball, and is a great leader. He seems exactly like what Arsenal need going into the new season. And Rice will likely be sitting just behind Martin Odegaard and Kai Havertz. Of course, Odegaard showed us the stuff he's made up of last season, a great leader who is really creative and good in front of goal. He was easily one of the best two midfielders in the Premier League last season. No other midfielder scored more goals than him in the league, but next season, he might have to play a little more central, as Kai Havertz has been signed from Chelsea. We imagine that Arteta probably wants to use the German in his most preferred position, which is playing either as an attacking midfielder or a supporting striker. In that case, Kai would be much closer to the opponent's box than Odegaard. And then, even with the likes of Partey and Saka seemingly on their way out of the club, Arteta will still have some solid options on the bench, like Jorginho, Fabio Vieira, and maybe Smith Rowe if he remains. Then up front, they actually do have a good and prolific trio. Gabriel Jesus, Gabriel Martinelli and Bukayo Saka got 40 goals between them in the Premier League alone last season. That's not a bad number at all. And you also have to factor in the fact that the centre-forward was out for months in the middle of the season. But Arteta is still not resting on his laurels in attack, and that's one of the reasons he has bought Kai Havertz. Yes, we already said he could play in the midfield, but that's the beauty about Havertz. He can play in about 3 different positions: attacking midfield, supporting striking, or centre-forward. So, if Arteta ever feels like he needs to do something different up front, he could throw Havertz in there. Of course, their star boy Saka is a phenomenon, and we just know he's only going to get better. He had 25 goal contributions in the Premier League last season, so he's surely someone Arteta can depend on. Martinelli on the other side is also great. He was the club's joint top scorer last season, and remember, he's another versatile fella. He can play on the left of attack, as a centre-forward, and as a false 9. Oh, and not to forget that Arsenal also have a certain guy named Leandro Trossard, who finished with the second most assists in the Premier League last season, despite not starting many games. There's also Reiss Nelson, who showed flashes of greatness last season. Eddie Nketiah, who held down the fort pretty well when Jesus was injured. And let's not forget Folarin Balogun, who finished 4th in the League One top scorers chart last season. Balogun returns from his loan spell this summer, and he could stay at the Emirates or he could leave. But whatever happens, Arteta will still be spoiled for choice up front next season. Nah, scratch that. He'll be spoiled for choice in every position next season. Players are leaving, but better players are joining at an even quicker pace, and that's definitely good for squad morale. Another thing to take note of here is that the players who are on the way out of the club are in their 30s, like Partey and Saka. Meanwhile, players who are joining are not older than 25. Havertz is 24, Rice is 24, and Timber is 22. So, Arteta is obviously building a team not just for the new season, but for the next few seasons. He really wants to make Arsenal a powerhouse. And you know what? There is in fact a huge possibility that Arteta could be lining up a first 11 where no player is above 26. Ramsdale 25, Saliba, Timber 22, Gabriel 25, White 25, Zinchenko 26, Rice 24, Havertz 24, Odegaard 24, Saka 21, Martinelli 22, Gabriel Jesus 26. Now, isn't that just insane? A squad of really good young ballers. Oh, what they would do in the Premier League next season. And you know something else? While the squad is good, one superstar signing could just catapult them to certain greatness. We hear that the club is eyeing Kylian Mbappé, and boy, what a move that would be. And don't just dismiss this move right here. Look a little more closely and it makes sense. It's a squad full of young players which has already shown promise. Mbappé, also a young player himself, walks into the squad and instantly becomes the face of the new project. Last season, the biggest rivalry in the Premier League title was between Arsenal and Man City, and Mbappe's biggest football rival right now, Erling Haaland, plays for City, so that could just set up a new Classico, you know? Also, the last time a French World Cup winning superstar moved to Arsenal, the club went on to dominate the league and even had an invincible season somewhere in there. The French superstar in question also won the Premier League Golden Boot for fun, won the European Golden Shoe twice, reached the Ballon d'Or podium a couple of times, and established himself as arguably the best player in the league's history. So, who says that same formula can't work again? Of course, this Mbappe deal will be the hardest for them to pull off, but if they manage to do it, it sends a very loud message to other teams in England, and even the rest of Europe, that Arsenal are back, and they're not here to play at all. Right now, you could say that Arsenal have made upgrades in every position on the field with the Havertz deal done and the Timber and Rice moves nearing completion. An Mbappe signing will only take it to the next level. But what do you guys think? Is signing Mbappe a distant dream for Arsenal, or could it really happen? And if they don't manage to get him, with the business the club has already done, how do you think Arsenal will play next season, and what do you think they'll be able to achieve? Will they now be able to win the Premier League, a domestic double maybe, reach the semis of the Champions League? Let us know what you think in the comments.